prophets! Follow me, and you will never again be deceived! Rise up!
Hi, my name is Neuroidius. Here's an interesting fact about me. A good long while ago, I decided to make a really fucking stupid video with the most ass quality ever, and even assier logic about my own interpretation of Bayverse Optimus' violent tendencies, because I was procrastinating on my homework and wanted to find more ways to procrastinate, like making a zero-effort post that I was sure no one would watch. A video that I recorded with a fucking headset mic or a broken webcam mic, and I forgot which one it was, and kept crashing and tell by my dad's tone, and I just editing bothered to clarify. You can tell by my total headcanon. Regardless, it's been almost 2 days, 2 years since I made that video that ended up accidentally jump-starting my channel, and ever since I made that... Seriously, the entire script was just ripped straight from a YouTube comment I had made like 2 days prior, except despite the video taking longer to watch than the comment takes to read, I left out like half of the relevant and interesting things I wanted to point out. Apparently some of the convoluted message came through.
I see their hunger in you. They were hungry. You were hungry.
In all honesty, I really do like interpreting Optimus war crime the way that I do. And if other people like hearing me geek out, then that's a bonus. If you haven't seen this movie, I blame the marketing team, and so should you. Luckily, you're not getting too much spoiled, but I do feel the need to enlighten you on how they handle Megatron's backstory as a lowly minor bot D-16 and his best friend, fellow minor bot Orion Pax. Plus, the movie takes place during my favorite era of Transformers, the
Fall of Cybertron 2012.
We were given the power to cook our world, and you chose to burn it like Sultanol. You have betrayed Cybertron.
People have been asking for a Transformers movie or show on Cybertron without humans for years, even though we've already gotten several, because they don't like— No wait, that one doesn't count. I never realized how much I wanted one on Cybertron without Megatron being Megatron yet, because his origins had never been this thoroughly shown, not even in the episode where Orion's origins are shown, because their brothers to enemies dynamic wasn't a thing yet. We've only ever gotten flashbacks and stuff. Come on. And we've never gotten to experience Megatron not being a chaotic egomaniac, psychopathic, bloodthirsty warlord. We do experience that here. Because just as much as this movie details Orion's triumphant rise to primehood, it shines equal light on D-16's vengeful fall to warmongering, like Bayverse Prime.
Every bite, every single bite of my plate.
Except, unlike Bayverse Prime, well, yeah, the movie shines light on it instead of being passive about it. See, my video would have been something worth the views it got if either I made it clear that this was all desperate, wishful bullshit, or if the movies had indeed had Autobots reacting to Optimus's increasingly violent tendencies, or whatever I said. The other Autobots, or maybe even the humans, reacting to him becoming this violent, merciless maniac, maybe at some point trying to bring him back to his people. Just like Orion Pax does to D-16 as his anger at Sentinel continues to consume him.
The age of fries is over. No more false ingredients. Follow me and
Real quick, at the start of the movie, D-16 and Orion bitch are practically brothers working in the mines as minor bots who don't have TFoCs like all the others. D-16 is as much of a main character as Orion, and just as much as we quickly get to know Orion as a scheming and rebellious teen with a childlike curiosity and a passionate interest in the Transformers lore,
Like me!
including the deceased primes who sacrificed themselves to save Cybertron from the Quintessons and the missing matrix of leadership, we also get to know D-16 as the more responsible and mature of the pair, who's not only content with his place, but also committed to his role and either laughs at Orion's adorable imagination,
and digging through ancient data is worth dying for.
Yes, it is.
or has to keep him out of trouble from the Racisticons.
Excuse me, sir. Allow me. I apologize on his behalf for it.
He's a good friend. And both of them hold the last Prime, Sentinel Prime, in high regards, just like everyone else on Cybertron as its leader. The main plot is set in motion when Orion tricks D-16 into entering a race where people die if they don't have cogs, but at least they both get to meet their hero face to face afterwards, but then they get demoted to trash duty, and that's where they find a distress call from Alpha Trion, one of the deceased primes, with coordinates to the possible location of the Matrix, so they sneak up to the surface and find Alpha Trion, but it turns out the Quintessons won against the primes, and now all of Cybertron's dwindling energon is being given to them because Sentinel sold the other primes out and got them killed in exchange for becoming the ruler of Cybertron, even if he's secretly at the Quintessons' mercy because he's such a little bitch. Okay, look, we're getting there, look, it's right here. See that? Total lack of empathy. This is his version of the Prime's coming back to life moment, where we immediately see a shift in personality, or at least, except this time it's not implied, or headcanon, I promise. Total lack of empathy. And look at how they react. Look, I'll pull the curtains down and admit that if you want to see what real similarities these two have with each other besides their tenacity for war crimes, there's the fact that just like Bayverse Prime with Bumblebee, D-16 brutally mutilates his own second-in-command, leaving him with an irreversible vocal condition. He's really messed up.
Hit me! Do it! Hit me! Hit me!
The bottom line, though, is that D-16's journey is one where through setback after setback after setback to the point of near death, his ending is one where he loses all the softness that once resided in him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was a bit of a hard hitter even before he got his TFoC. But you see the guy literally kill someone for the first time, and he's laughing. That's the thing that makes me see D-16 as a mirror to Bayverse Optimus in terms of characterization, their arcs. Or at least his arc and the one that I pulled from him.
It's only later in the fight.
Over the course of 3 movies, and over the course of 1 movie, you see these two sink from people of noble and caring character to cold-blooded with zero remorse. The only difference is that for D-16, the descent is not only focused and clear, it's integral to the narrative.
No. No. Why? Why did you do that? Why? No.
I'm shooting you.
I want to point out real quick that the Bayverse movies don't never acknowledge Optimus becoming a heartless psycho. I think I'm the only person on the planet who likes Age of Extinction. I know all the crap about how it was an unnecessary sequel, and Bay was only there for a paycheck basically in the Diddy scenes. It's definitely not the best Bayverse film, but it is the only one besides the first one where the Autobots are treated like actual characters with personalities and souls instead of just military background set pieces.
Kill you!
Yeah, hate those things. Well, we look, they're not here. Let's go.
What? Hey, I'm not going anywhere without Tessa.
I'm unclear. What's in it for me?
What's in it for you?
Easy, let's use words.
What's in it for you is I don't kill you. We're getting the boss back. And the girl. Copy?
And that extends to the fact that the movie for the first time not only acknowledges Optimus's gamer rage, but even the whole plot is crafted in a way that makes his increasing violence and lack of empathy be portrayed as cause and effect, and it all stems not just from the anger and trauma of the past countless years of war, but the devastation from just the recent betrayal of the humans he swore allegiance to, only for them to turn on him and kill and mutilate a bunch of his friends.
That's company property!
They're not your property. They were my friends.
It's not a whole lot, but it's the most we ever got out of the Bayverse movies, and it's enough to make the audience for once understand why he's lost himself.
How many more of my kind must be sacrificed to atone for your mistakes?
D-16's trauma, on the other hand, gets like 10 times that much exposure.
Or it's a clue of how we can find the matrix of leadership. No way. Absolutely not. I'm waiting right here until Sentinel Prime finds us.
Hey, Soundwave, you want a race?
I'm in.
Ah, yeah, buddy.
A few inches later.
He caved in when his best friend pressured him to go on a road trip in the hopes that they would be rewarded with their old jobs back. But he only ended up finding out that their jobs are worse than pointless. They're self-destructive, benefiting their worst enemies who want to kill them all. Because all the energon that they rely on as lifeblood, all the energon that he's been spending years mining, all the energon that the whole planet has been running low on ever since the Matrix disappeared, is being handed over to their greatest enemy, these ugly-ass bugs, by his greatest idol, who stripped him and all of the other miners of their ability to transform at birth to keep them from being anything other than working grunts. And his turnover in attitude and personality is almost instantaneous, that you can see how much he's been destroyed on the inside from knowing how much of his life is a lie.
Until our gear's stripped. And all the while, he's been giving the Energon away to our greatest enemies.
And what do you think he's going to do to us when he finds out that we know?
I'm not thinking about what he's going to do. I'm thinking about what we're going to do.
Well, that's the whole thing. You're never thinking about anything else, just yourself. Fantastic. Another Orion Pack's master plan. I can't wait to hear this.
Wait, don't you want to stop him?
No! I want to kill him! I want to put Sentinel in chains and march him through the mines so everyone can see him for the false prime that he is. I want him to suffer and then to die in darkness. But we all know that it doesn't matter what I want, right, Pax? The fact is, we're just cogless bots, right?
And the thing I love perhaps the most is how the other main characters react to the darkness rising in a spark. Just as much as the reveal of Sentinel Prime's treachery completely tears Orion apart alongside D, the gradual sight of watching his best friend succumb to his rage until he's practically a shell of his former self tears Orion apart on the inside, probably even more than the betrayal. It's practically the recurring focus of the second half of the movie. At one point, even D himself has a visible reaction to everything changing within him, and the horror on his best friend's face as he watches D-16 become more and more of a violent monster makes this one of the more tragic iterations of Megatron, and in a personal sort of way. This is one of the only few I've seen where he wasn't at least a soldier or a gladiator before becoming Megatron, and so his violent, brutal nature by the end hits even harder because of how drastic it is in comparison. Especially when he turns that violence on innocent people, even his own friends for trying to stop him. If you haven't seen Transformers 1 yet, then hopefully you want to by now, and I hope you do, because no one else did. Don't let the 3D animation angle turn you off, and by the time the final battle of the film, and the first battle of their rivalry comes around, not only is it spectacular, but it's got so much more emotional weight and depth beneath it than anything we've ever seen regarding these two icons in such a long time, maybe even ever.